It is Wednesday, April 6th, 2022, and I think it's a little unfair to say Sunny Hostin was cranky today. And that's why she was standing up for the actual laws and rules about immigration in this country. Stephanie What's-Her-Face and that whole coming in illegally bullshit, that's all just veiled racism. That same whole crowd that talks about people need to come here legally. Seeking asylum is a legal way to enter the country. You get in however you get in. Once you get here, you are allowed to ask for asylum. That's legal. That's the process. There are mechanisms in place that then vet the person, find them a place to be. There's a whole process. That's what sanctuary cities are about. And a part of this crisis at the border is that the last administration, instead of increasing the amount of attorneys and government officials at the border to process people that were coming, removed them and created a situation where there wasn't enough personnel to process the people that were coming across the border, that have been coming across the border the same way for decades, which is fine, it's legal. These assholes who keep talking about, you gotta come here legally, when they're only talking about the southern border, they never concern themselves with European immigrants or Canadian immigrants. It's always just people from Latin America and South America that they seem to have a problem with. So when Sunny says, I see you are okay with some, but not the brown ones, she's right. And those people, the same people that say that whole thing about come here, you got to come here legally, are the same people who bitch about the minimum wage, say, oh, they're taking all our jobs, but then they also complain that there's, nobody's willing to work, so their favorite, store is closed down. They're the same people who make up lies and bullshit to try to cover up for their fucking racism. It is infuriating that they continually get away with saying that whole same phrase. And I'm super happy that Sunny was like, when you say come here illegally, what do you mean? Because they don't know what they mean, other than the fact that it's brown people coming across the southern border of the United States. And, they've been so conditioned to talk about this whole open border thing. You can't, building the wall isn't going to make a difference either. People will tunnel under it. People will go over it. You can't have a fully patrolled border for a country the size of ours. You can't. And so that's why there are rules and laws in place to process people who come across the border who want to live here. And we should let them. You do go through background checks. You go through the whole process. People also come here illegally and then don't go through a process, and they continue to live here illegally. Oftentimes because the process is quite onerous, but that's part of the problem. You'd have a lot less illegal immigrants and you'd have a lot less people stuck at the border if we would simply staff up our immigration process. That's the piece that's missing. And I don't know why this administration isn't doing that. And maybe they have to some degree, but it's still not enough. We can spend, $740 billion a day for the military, but we can't have enough staff on hand to process the immigrants who want to come into this country. It boggles my mind. And then someone would say that sole argument would be like, don't spend money on immigrants when we can't feed our own people. You're not doing anything to feed the people either with your stupid conservative values that don't help anyone other than, well, corporations and the people already in power. Anyway, that's my little rant on immigration. That Sunny deserves kudos, not a slap on the wrist for holding someone's foot to the fire about what immigration rules actually are.